to use that parallel. I'm talking about human being or not human being, but football players. But it's basically the same thing. Basically the same damn thing. Um, I talked about the Cleveland thing. I talked a little about Jameis, his country ass. Speaking of country, yeah, fish fry went on at that joint today in Bessemer. Yeah, they had a fish fry. They was out there roasting pigs. My man Mariota had pigs roasting. Good for him. Like, you ain't gonna get that in Chicago. Like, your folk, they ain't gonna put no pig in the ground at the draft for you and roll that thing over for hours and hours and hours and slow cook that joint till it's tender and pull apart pork in your mouth. Nah. Good for all those dudes. I may have time to get involved in this this stuff about weed in the NFL here in a second. I'm trying to keep my eye on what's going on with the trying to pay attention to what's being done on my television as well. I hear the name Danny Shelton. Think Haloti Nada, big kid out of Washington, doing work in the middle of a line, disturbing, you got the, I guess what you're supposed to say is no homo when you do this. I'm not gonna say that. Whatever. He got ass for days. He's a wide-bodied young man that you can put at a 0 or a 1 right there in the middle of your line and say, linebackers, don't worry about getting touched. It's gonna take 5 dudes just to block him. Here's the commissioner, everybody.
With the 7th pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Kevin White. West Virginia.
Chi-Town. Yeah. Actually, the Bears didn't win the Super Bowl. As we all know, the draft is in Chicago. They got him a nice little player. Not little player. He's a huge human being. 6'3", runs a 4.3. Great compliment to Alshon Jeffrey, who he's a downfield route runner, but not big. He's a body guy. No, this kid is fast. This guy can get behind cover. He's going to be a nice replacement for Brandon Marshall, who they traded to the the New York Jets. Martellus Bennett still there for now. There were some rumors that came out earlier about him being on the trading block or being available for the right price. So Jay Cutler has a new toy as of right now, or Jimmy Clausen, but as of right now, Jay Cutler has a new toy, and his name is Kevin White. Big, fast, angry running wide receiver out of the University of West Virginia University. Excuse me. So good for them, or good for that young man in the top 10. I think we're here now. I think as far as my Atlanta Falcons fans. What pick are we on? Are we on that pick? Will I get that pick in before my hour is up here? I've got 12 minutes, so if I don't have the draft order in front of me, so that's kind of a problem. I don't have it in front of me, so, and I haven't been keeping count because I'm talking and counting was never said to be a part of this job here. So there's that. See, that's not true. I just heard John Gruden say if you line up on the right every single time, there's a problem. Here's the thing: Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne did that their entire careers with Peyton Manning. It was left and right. There wasn't no motion and all that foolishness. It was left and right. Stop it if you can. And guess what? No one could do. Stop it. Most prolific passer. Well, he's going to end up being the most prolific passer in the entire NFL history. Peyton Manning. So there's that whole theory. Okay, this weed thing. I was talking about how in 20 years, the NFL and the society period is going to look at this whole strong take the NFL has against marijuana and look at it crazy. And I'm always referencing this study, so I made sure I went and looked up the exact study so I could tell you guys about it. At Hebrew University in Israel, they did studies on what the effect is on cannabis, in particular a cannabinoid that they've called 2-AG. They say it reduces levels of glutamate, a toxic molecule released after a head injury. Second, it decreases the amount of free radicals and TNF, a chemical that induces inflammation after the injury. Third, it increases the blood supply to the brain. All three mechanisms are essential for limiting the damage done after the primary injury. Like after you get that first boom, that concussion, weed. This study from Hebrew University in Israel, says weed. Here's the caveat though. The 2-AG must be administered within 4 to 6 hour window after the injury to be effective. Which, football game, 3 hours or so, 3.5 hours. You shower, press conference, you home, another hour, about 5 hours. You right there in the window. Get home, spark up. By the time Tuesday, Wednesday roll around, they give you the concussion protocol. You passing it back on the field, getting money again. I don't know. I feel like it's very interesting, and I think as each day goes by, more and more people, not just in this country, around the world, are testing and studying the effects of cannabis as a medicine, and not just a drug that is a Schedule I drug, which means it's more potent or more of a drug than cocaine and morphine and LSD and methamphetamine, as far as the government is concerned. That don't sound stupid to you. I got a bridge in Ellenwood to sell you. Yeah, for cheap too. Don't worry about it. 50 grand to get it for you. They just showed. The Falcons are up. I want to get this pick in before I get out of here tonight, man. And I've got time. I've got like 8 minutes. And they're showing Todd Gurley. Now, we know the Atlanta Falcons need pass rush help. They also need offensive line help. The kid from Stanford is still there. Lyle Collins would have been there, but, he's got other problems. People want to know if he set up his baby mama to be murdered and his unborn kid, because that's the other thing about this. I don't know if I mentioned that, but they want to give him a DNA test to figure out if it's his kid, because then you get into a whole nother – you get into that Ray Caruth element now. Like, wait a minute now, because to give you the whole story if you don't know it, they delivered the kid. She was found dead. They got her to the hospital in time to deliver the baby. I don't know what the state of the baby is, and I'm definitely gonna find out. I want to know that, because if you've seen Ray Caruth's story, his kid is a teenager now and can't walk on his own very well. Can't talk on his own at all. He just makes sounds. His grandma, sorry, Freudian. His grandma had to get her a van, retrofitted to be able to transport him to all the things that he needs, his therapies and the things that he's involved in, man. And the kid looks exactly like Ray Caruth. Exactly. So every time this woman looks at her grandson, man, she has to see the dude who killed her. In a way, she has to look in the eyes of the guy who murdered her daughter. It's a Sports Illustrated article. And Rob told me that there's a piece on TV, but I know it doesn't do any justice to reading to the detail of the piece. Like I know some of you listen to these podcasts and you've heard me say, like, damn, reading the book if the movie's out. This is different. This is an actual event that happened. This is a news event that happened. This is different. The whole Game of Thrones thing where people are like, oh, this season is definitely not going with the book. Guess who doesn't know that? Me. I have no idea. I think it's confusing, the new season of Game of Thrones, but whatever. I'll catch up. And if I don't, guess what I'll do? I'll binge watch it when it's all over on demand and figure it out. Because I'm sitting there trying to tweet and everything during the episode, and I'm not paying attention as much as I should, because basketball is on too, and I'm trying to get back to basketball. Yes. I get the Falcons pick. The Falcons are on.
NFL draft.
Here's
the Atlanta Falcons select Vic Beasley.
There it is. All right.
Defensive end, Clemson.
All right.
Well, you certainly can add it up.
Yeah. They got a guy who fits into what Dan Quinn wants to do over there. A guy who could be versatile, put his hand in the ground, big enough, gained a bunch of weight for the combine, about 245, and still was able to run like in the 4.5, 4.6 range, and it crushed the rest of the position drills and the vertical and the bench press. Then showed up at his pro day and solidified all those things. Not a long arm guy. He's a guy who production is his thing. You know, he's going to have to do a little bit better at developing a counter move. One of the things that a lot of athletic pass rushers that come out of college don't have initially. You know, they're so used to beating guys with their initial move, they don't necessarily have to counter. So if he can learn that, he's going to a team that has a defensive-minded coach that'll really try to, you know, get him to display his maximum ability, whatever that is that he has in him, maximum. I've heard Todd McShay describe him as a spectator at times, a guy who has shied away from contact in certain instances. I've gone to Draft Breakdown and I've seen some of his tape. Now, I saw him play last year against Georgia. You know, since we're here in the state of Georgia, we got the chance to see that. I liked him the year before last, as a matter of fact, and he only got bigger and faster this year. I think he's with the right team. The only problem that I have with that is they're gonna have to. I don't know who's left in this second wave of free agency, but he can't be the guy that teams are double teaming or focusing on, and that's what it looks like right now immediately for this team, because there's no one else that's rushing the passer. You've seen over the last 3 years, the Falcons are far and beyond the worst team at getting to the quarterback in the league. Period. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have to find somebody to put on the other side of the ball, or scheme it the way they did in Seattle. You know, a lot of different fronts, a lot of different movement, and then get some depth where they can rotate guys and some quality depth, not just bodies to have bodies, but quality depth, guys to rotate in. Have him moving around a little bit, like kind of like the Bruce Irvin player. Even if you want to initially start him off situationally, it's a little bit high in the draft to get a situational guy. I need you on the field 50, 60 snaps a game, but whatever. It's a different era. You know what I mean? I'm glad I got to get that pick in with Rob not here. I think I've done all right. You know, I got distracted a couple of times trying to, you know, trying to hear some of the things that are being said in my headphones that you guys can't hear right now about the player, you know, and mostly it's stuff that I've heard before. I don't really watch the ESPN version of the draft. Mike Mayock is my guy, and Charles Davis is another guy I like watching. They're both on NFL Network. I'll deal with Deion Sanders because I have to, as it's like a part of it. Like the whole meal can't be good. Like, you know, the dessert ain't gonna be cool, or the pasta ain't gonna be cooked all the way. Everything ain't gonna be good. So I'm just gonna accept that Deion's, you know, he's the over al dente pasta in the mix. I love Rich Eisen. He does a great job of, you know, kind of traffic copying that thing that they do over there. So when I'm done here, I'm gonna go downstairs and watch the NFL versions. So it's hard for me to listen to like Gruden and Kuiper and freaking and Boomer in my ear while I'm talking to you guys, because I want to hear what they're saying about these guys. But, you know, I'd rather not if I didn't have to. Tomorrow's Friday. Rob will still be gone. I may try to, you know, get somebody in here with me. You know, may try to call up one of my contacts and talk some sports with him, man. Talk some NFL draft with him. I know we had baseball. I know we had basketball yesterday. Real quick before I get out of here, mercifully, the Portland's going home. LaMarcus Aldridge may be done. The Atlanta Hawks took care of their business at home again in another close one with the Brooklyn Nets. So they go back to Brooklyn for Friday, and then Sunday they'll be back here in Phillips Arena, back here in Atlanta at Phillips Arena to get that. Actually, I can get this pick in.
The New York Giants select Eric Flowers, tackle, Miami.
There it is, offensive lineman out of Miami.
It's in the position, one of the positions that we thought. I'm sure
absolutely.
That
All right, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Big Mike holding it down. My guy Rob Calloway's out in Vegas. Tomorrow's Friday. Like I said, man, make sure you guys follow us and check the podcast out on Spreaker.com and tell a friend. Follow us, like us, Sports King.